Hello to all the viewers of ABP. I think the world in which we are living is uncertain. But one thing is sure that the money which we have, we need to invest in a manner that we can be certain of wealth creation in the long run. Wouldn't it be good if we had one single product which had equity, debt, REITs, InvITs, um, commodity exposure, and that too with a taxation which is beneficial, let's say equity taxation, for example. We believe in the world that we live in, that there is a lot of uncertainty. And for your investments to grow in the long run, incrementally, you should be investing in the multi asset category. What is this multi asset category? Like I was mentioning, multi asset category is a single instrument, single investment, which allows you to invest across most of the financial investment parameters or financial investment avenues available today. They include equity assets. India being a long-term growth potential, equity should be a part of your portfolio. Now, within equity, sometimes markets are cheap, you need higher exposure. Sometimes markets are expensive, you need lower exposure. So the multi-asset fund allows the fund manager that leeway of changing the equity exposure based on the market valuations. Second, debt markets. In India, interest rates have always been reasonably good for the investors to beat inflation or meet inflation, I should say. And that's where debt becoming a part of multi-asset helps the investors. While it is new, REITs and InvITs, which is essentially real estate investment trust and infrastructure investment trust, are also getting popular among investors. And we believe that that should be selectively part of a certain exposure that you get, which is also part of multi-asset fund. And the last part, which is essentially commodities. If you look at the world today, the uncertainties around the developed world and the fact that last 15 years, the equity culture has developed so much that most of us have forgotten gold as an asset class. To that extent, gold in your portfolio and that too through equity taxation, if you get in the multi-asset fund, it becomes a good choice for you from an investment standpoint. Along with gold, if at times you can get some silver exposure, some natural gas, some aluminum, copper, zinc, depending on the fund manager's view on these particular commodities, wouldn't it be nice? All of this in a single multi-asset fund where the weightages are chosen by the fund manager in a way that the risk and reward over the long term creates a situation where your wealth creation journey can keep compounding in the long run. For example, in ICICI Prudential multi-asset fund, which has been in existence for long, we have been able to showcase how this combination of equity, debt, REITs, InvITs, and predominantly gold, but sometimes adding silver, natural gas, crude oil, has helped generate returns while taking risk into account for the investors. And in this journey, we believe for your incremental investments, the multi-asset category is a good choice because there are uncertainties in the world which make you have or which should have in your portfolio all these assets, all these particular asset types. And if you get it in an instrument where there is equity taxation, now there are different taxations possible for with various multi-asset funds in the industry. ICICI Prudential Multi-Asset Fund as an equity taxation because at all points of time, we try to maintain gross equity more than 65%. So if you look at from an investing standpoint for the long run, multi-asset funds today are one of the better options within the various options that you have. And we believe both for lump sum and SIP investments, the multi-asset fund is something which you should look at from an incremental investment standpoint, because all of us today are trying to find where should you invest, how should you invest. This particular fund will allow you to get participation in the right asset at the right price. And the way we manage our equity also, we try to manage within the equity assets, the right sectors and the right stocks within the sectors without worrying too much about the benchmarks. I think from an investor standpoint, it gives a good differentiating factor for you to consider making the ICICI Prudential Multi-Asset Fund a larger part of your overall investment pie, because multiple assets, multiple different asset classes within a particular instrument makes it easier for you to participate in India's long-term story while keeping the risks in check. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.